Welcome to session 6. In session 6, we'll be looking at, did women have a revolution? The topic is, did women have a revolution? Most of the women of the third estate had to work for a living because they worked as seamstresses, laundresses, sold flowers, fruits, vegetables at the market, and were employed as domestic servants in the house of the prosperous people. Most women did not have access to education or job training. This is one of the reasons why women of the third estate had to work for a living. They have to work for different odd jobs like laundresses, flower sellers, fruit sellers, vegetable sellers, or as domestic maids. Only the daughters of the rich, wealthier, nobles and wealthier members of the third estate could study at a convent, after which the families arranged a marriage for them. Working women had also to take care of their families, that is, cook, fetch water, queue up for bread, and look after the children. Their wages were lower than those of men, so there was a discrimination. There was a huge role played by women in the revolution time. In order to discuss and voice their interest, women started their own political clubs and newspapers. About 60 women clubs came up in French cities, and the French society has seen this growth of women clubs. The Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women was the most famous of them. One of their main demands was that women to enjoy the same political rights as men, which is being denied continuously. Women were disappointed that the Constitution of 1791 reduced them to passive citizens. They demanded the right to vote, to be elected to the assemblies, and to hold political office. Only then, they felt, would their interest be represented in the new government. Women wanted active participation in the voting as well as to contest in the elections and also be eligible to vote the political office and hold in the political office. But none of these were approved by the Constitution of 1791. That's the reason why women were disappointed. In the early years, the revolutionary government did introduce laws that helped to improve the lives of women. So in the early years, there were few steps taken by the revolutionary government which improved the lives of women, like creation of state schools in which schooling was made compulsory for all girls. So the schooling was introduced to school girls and it was made compulsory, which is one nice step taken by the revolutionary government. Their fathers could no longer force them into marriage against their will. There were also laws which stated that the marriage of the girl has to be with the consent of the girl, and marriage was made into a contract where it is entered freely and registered under civil law. By making this arrangement, the government has given a chance for them to take divorce whenever they intended to, and divorce was made legal. Could be applied by both women and men, which was earlier denied to women. Women could now train for jobs, could become artists, run small business. Now women struggle for equality and equal political rights, however, continued for a long time. We can see Olympie de Gouges fighting for the rights in her entire her life, and later she was executed because she criticized the Jacobins government. During the reign of terror, the new government issued laws ordering closure of women's clubs and banning their political activities. Many prominent women were arrested and a number of them were executed. Women's movement for voting rights and equal wages continued through the next 200 years in many countries of the world. So the movement of voting rights and equal wages was not accepted by any of the governments, and it continued till 1946, nearly 200 years from then. The fight for the vote was carried out through an internal suffrage movement during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The example of political activities of French women during the revolutionary years was kept alive as an inspiring memory. It was finally in 1946 that women in France won the right to vote, and there comes the triumph of women's struggles in France, which ended in 1946, recognizing women as equal to men and allotted the right to vote.